Alright guys, today we got some crazy news coming out of AtGames. We now have the CoinOpsX add-on feature that is officially running on the Legends Ultimate. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to customize it, get all the proper artwork, so that way it looks beautiful and looks just like your CoinOps build on PC. This is Steve from Restalgia, and let's get started. Alright guys, so before we get started with this, I do want to say welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, please consider going down below the video and subscribing to the channel as we work our way towards 30,000 subscribers. Now obviously you came here to figure out how do I customize CoinOpsX on my Legends Ultimate. And before I show you guys how to do that, I do want to mention that AtGames did do a new firmware release. Obviously we need that in order for this to work, but there are some other features that they've included and I do want to give you a quick rundown. So obviously the big new feature today is that we've got a CoinOPS X feature that is working, that was developed by the team over at CoinOps, and I'm very much looking forward to see what other features and other add-ons you bring out for the Legends Ultimate Arcade cabinet. We do have a couple other things. There is a new settings option to customize the spinner and trackball right in the menu navigation. And the last big thing here is that we have 7 new leaderboard games. So we're getting CoinOpsX, but we're getting 7 new leaderboard games, and that is incredible. And those 7 games are Battle Wings, Darwin 4078, Earth Defense Force, Major Havoc, Millipede, Terranian, and Voltric. So that's pretty much in terms of this firmware 4.24 release. Let's go ahead and jump over to my computer, and I'm going to show you guys how to get this artwork loaded up for CoinOpsX. Alright guys, so here we are on my computer. Now this tutorial is going to be under the assumption you've already upgraded to the latest firmware and you've already set everything up on your USB drive to start working with CoinOpsX. I do want to mention, if you are not even sure what I'm talking about, I will leave some links in the description down below. There's a great video that P-Dubs did, and he's given us all the information about third-party apps and how they're running and what we can expect from them, as well as a bit of information about CoinOpsX. And then there's also going to be another video that is going to be a straight up tutorial showing you how to get the very base setup for CoinOpsX on your USB drive, and that's actually going to be from Steven at the Tech Buzz. So again, if you do not know what's going on here, or you haven't got CoinOpsX prepared on your USB drive, go down to the description down below and check out those videos to get ready, and then come back and visit me here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this thing started. So as I said, I'm under the assumption you guys have already set up your USB drive so it's ready for CoinOpsX. Obviously, we need to be on the latest firmware version 4.24, and you are also going to need the newest add-on tool X as well, and all of that information should be in the description down below or on the Tech Buzz's video. Now, for the purposes of this video, I've already got a few games that I've loaded up on here. Most of them are ready to go, and all the artwork's been matched. But I am going to add 3 new titles on here, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it for each title. It's important to mention here that CoinOpsX right now, with the version we have, technically is compatible with all the different consoles, but there isn't a filtering system on this, and I would actually recommend it, and I think most people who are going to do this would agree, you're only going to want to do this with arcade games, and you should probably have a separate USB build specifically for CoinOpsX. It just makes things a lot cleaner, and it makes things a lot easier for you as the end user. So, as I said, I've got my USB drive here. Every game on here is going to be an arcade game. I do not have any console games. We're focusing today on arcade titles. What we are going to need to do is have whatever UCE file for the games that we want ready to go. In this case, I've got 3 games. I've got 1944, I've got Golden T99, and I've got Golden Axe, The Revenge of Death Adder, and that one's actually my favorite, so I had to make sure I included it on my build. Now you're going to want to follow these steps very carefully, because if you make even a single mistake, it will affect the outcome. And what the first thing that we're going to need to do is get everything prepped. That's going to be in our CoX folder. So if we double click on the CoX folder, as you're going to see, I've got a bunch of folders already here. And you are going to need to create all these folders and dump them into this section as well. Out of the box, this folder should be completely empty. Like I said, I pre-set up a bunch of games, so that's why I have these folders here, but you will have nothing in this folder. You're going to need to create a cover folder, a logo folder, a marquee folder, a screenshot folder, a vert folder, and video folder. And it's important that they all need to match exactly how I have it written here, right on down to the actual case sensitivity. For example, the vert folder has a capital V and then lowercase ERT, but everything else is all in lowercase. That is very, very important, so make sure that you do that. The reason why we want these folders specifically is because that is the way that CoinOps is set up. If you have a CoinOps build, which is actually something that I would recommend because it's going to make this process substantially easier. If I pull it up, I'm just going to throw it over to the side right over here, and I jump directly into the CoinOps directories. You're going to see we have a bunch of folders, but if we click on collections and then we go into the dash arcade, we're going to have a folder here called medium artwork. And once I open that, you're going to see that actually almost everything matches with the exception of screenshots. Now, once you actually launch your games and you start playing, you will have a screenshot folder that automatically populates. And that's why that's going to be over on my USB drive versus on the actual CoinOps Arcade build on my PC. But the important thing to note is that's pretty much all you need to do. You're going to need to make sure that this is a mirror image. You've got cover, logo, marquee, vert, video, and then that extra screenshot folder. Next, what we're going to need to do is grab the appropriate artwork and put it into the appropriate folder. Now, the reason why I said it's actually a good idea to have a CoinOps build somewhere on your PC or have access to one of the existing CoinOps builds is because you can actually just take the images from within that build, copy them over to your USB drive, we can make the edits that we need to, and then it'll automatically work. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and do the first game that I have set up, which is going to be 1944. I'm going to jump over to the covers folder and we're going to look for 1944. And as you can see, I do have an image right over here, the cover folder for 1944. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to grab it and I'm just going to drop it and copy it over to my USB drive cover folder. Next, we're going to go back. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to go to the logo. We're going to grab this logo 1944. We're going to copy it over to our logo folder on our USB drive, and then we're going to move on to the marquee section. Same thing is going to happen right over here. We're going to look for 1944. There's our marquee, copy it over to that folder, and we're good. Obviously, we don't need to copy anything into the screenshot folder. That's going to be an internal feature, but there is a vert folder. And what you're actually going to see here is that all the images are the exact same. And what this is going to be a placeholder image that's actually on the main menu that fills up kind of the side space of any vertical game. So it's definitely important to have it there. Now, not all games have it. For example, 1944 is not a game that has it. But if you do have a vertical game, you're going to want to grab this and dump it into the vert folder as well. So we're going to go back, and the last thing we need to do is grab our snapshot video. And the same process is true. All we need to do is grab the 1944.avi file. We're going to copy that over to our video section, and it's going to go ahead and transfer over, and that's it. Now, before I finish up anything here, I'm going to go ahead and minimize my CoinOps build, and I'm going to just take a peek at my USB drive. We aren't going to be done here. We actually need to change the name of all the files that we just transferred onto the USB drive to match exactly what the UCE file is. Now, if I go ahead and open up my cover folder, for example, we're going to see right away we've got 1944.jpg, and then we have all of our other image files. And as you can see, the image files are indicated as addon_ whatever it happens to be, and that's exactly what we want it to look like. It needs to match 100% to the name of the UCE file. So what we can do is we can actually just click on the UCE file. It'll highlight everything with the exception of the extension. We're going to go ahead and copy that. Then we're going to go over to the 1944.jpg, and actually I'll change the view so you guys can actually see the images here. I'm going to go ahead and click on this in order to rename it. We're going to paste that information. We're going to hit enter. And that's all we need to do. We're going to go back and we're going to do the exact same thing for a logo. We're going to rename it to addon_1944 and then in brackets arcade because that's what the UCE name is. And then we're going to go ahead and save that. We go back. We do the same thing for our marquee. We're going to paste it in there, press enter. Then we're going to go back. We're going to shoot over to the video section and we're going to rename the last video file as well. We're going to hit enter and we're good to go. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to grab our UCE and we're just going to dump it on the root of our USB drive. And that's more or less it in order to add games and get the proper artwork. Now, it's important to note, if you get this launched and you don't actually have things matching up, that means you haven't named it correctly, but it's very simple to fix it. You just go back onto your USB drive and just verify the artwork names of all the different files that we just loaded on here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing with Golden T99. Okay, so now that we're finished loading up all our games, we've got our UCEs loaded up onto the root of the USB drive, we've loaded up all of our artwork into the COX folders inside of their appropriate folder. We're almost done here. All that we need to do, since we've added a few extra games, is rerun the new AddOnX tool. So if I double click on that, it's going to be important to note you need to be on version 1.0.15. That's the new version that was released today. Next, we're going to go ahead and choose the folder in which we are going to be scanning. In this case, it's going to be my Store and Go USB drive, and we're going to go ahead and hit OK. Then we're going to hit build, and this is not going to take long since it's already been pre-built. It's just going to go ahead and scan everything and go ahead and launch it. Okay, perfect. So now that the scan is done, we are more or less good to go. All that's left for us to do is grab our USB drive, pop it into the Legends Ultimate, and get this thing loaded up. So let's go ahead and switch over to that now. Alright guys, so here we are on the arcade cabinet. The first thing that we're going to do, make sure the USB drive is connected into the far left USB port. You just tend to get better results that way, and it's best for compatibility. Next, we're going to go ahead and navigate over to the BYOG section of our cabinet, and we're going to notice right out of the gate that we now have a CoinOpsX X feature there. Now, you may have seen this in one of the other guys' videos, but it is important to note that this is going to be the exact same as AddOnX. When you are logged in, there is no problem, but if you are not logged into ArcadeNet, you are able to use this feature 5 times before you have to re-log in and reset that counter. So we're going to go ahead and jump into that. And here we are. This is CoinOpsX the way that it's supposed to look. If you decided not to do any of the artwork whatsoever, you're going to get something that looks a little bit more like this, which I'm going to go ahead and put on screen. And as you can see, it is technically CoinOps, but it's not very visually appealing. It doesn't have the proper artwork, it doesn't have the proper names, and it doesn't really do anybody any good. So definitely you're going to want to go ahead and spend some time to build this up the way it's supposed to look. Now, it is going to take some time. This is going to be something people will need to spend quite a bit of time doing in order to get it up and running and looking the way they want it to. But really quickly, I am going to show you 1944. Obviously, it's on the list. We've already seen it. It looks good. Next, I'm going to go down to Golden T99. You'll see that there, and it does look really good. All the artwork matches. The videos are playing properly. It looks proper on here. Then we're going to jump over to Golden Axe, the Revenge of Death Adder, and you'll see as well, everything looks proper, and everything is exactly as it should be. But that's pretty much all I've got for you guys. If you have any questions at all, or if you are confused by this in any way, please either reach out to me, leave a comment in the comment section down below, or you can reach out to one of the other YouTubers. It is very important to note that this is not an application that was released as an official AtGames application. This has nothing to do with AtGames. This was developed completely by a third-party developer, and if you need any support for this specifically, you're not going to get it through AtGames because they don't have anything to do with it. They just allowed for a feature like this to be able to run on the cabinet, but if you end up with any issues, or if you want some changes, or you want to see some updates, or if you want to give some constructive feedback, or even just some really good suggestions for a later version, you're going to need to go over to the CoinOps Discord. I will leave an invite link in the description down below, and you can go ahead and get in touch with the team over at CoinOps. But again, like I said, that's all I've got for you guys. Thank you so very much for watching, and I will talk to you guys again real soon.